Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's speculation station time. We're launching this video on Father's Day, so that's going to be Sunday the 15th. We've got 2 days to Sapphire Day, and I have plans for Sapphire Day, assuming that Sapphire Day is actually Sapphire Day. Should everything launch on Tuesday the 17th, I'm planning on doing a live with Joe Barretto at 1 o'clock, so check in for that. We're going to go live just reaction to the news. I'm also looking to set up something with Call Me Lonnie to discuss the news in depth because he is a Sapphire card holder. I'm a Sapphire card holder. Joe is also a Sapphire card holder. So we're going to talk about the cards, like the immediate impacts for us, that sort of thing. It'll be a fun day. But let's talk about what I think is going to potentially happen should Tuesday be Sapphire Day. I am 90% confident we're getting 3 cards now. 3. That is the Sapphire Reserve Refresh, the Sapphire Reserve Business Card, and a rebranding of the Ink Preferred to the Sapphire Preferred Business. And I've got some rationale there. So, Sapphire Reserve, pretty easy. We know what the welcome off. We know what the annual fee is going to look like. It'll either be $6.95 or $7.95. $7.95 was floated earlier this month. Nothing's been confirmed by Chase. It's a question of where is the puck going versus where is the puck. Where is the puck? $6.95. Where is the puck going? $7.95. So you always want to be going where the puck is going because that's just better hockey. So $7.95 I think is going to be the annual fee. We have an idea and tacit confirmation of what the multipliers are going to look like. That is 8 times points in the Trace travel portal on all travel in the portal. 4 times points on hotels and airlines booked directly through the airlines, 3 times points on dining, 1 times points on everything else. There will also be 5 times points on Lyft rides with a $10 Lyft credit. There will be a DoorDash credit. It says $25 DoorDash credit. Again, hopefully it's a unified DoorDash credit. They just changed that. Otherwise, it's the typical 5 and 2 10s, which is a pain, but is what it is. So we already know about 120. We already know about $420 in credits. The other credits, I believe that the edit credit is legit. I'm going to assume that the StubHub credit is legit, and I'm going to assume that Chase Dining credit is legit. So that's $600, $1,100 plus $420. So that's $1,520 in credits right there. Should you maximize all of them? Are you going to maximize all of them? Probably not. But there you go. Then there's some outstanding questions. An Instacart credit likely coming to the card. We'll see what it looks like. I would assume that it would be like a $20 a month and a Instacart credit. Whatever the Instacart credit looks like on the Club Infinite, the United Club Infinite, that is the Instacart credit that you should expect for the Sapphire Reserve. Remains to be seen if we're keeping the $300 travel credit, but I am going to err on the side of yes, because it wouldn't make sense to lose that credit if it is a travel card. If all other travel dropped to 1x, you could give the points back that way. Then there's the 1.5 redemption in the portal. I don't think that's going away, but if it did, it would make all of us seriously question holding the card. I don't think Chase is ready to do that. And even if they did a grandfathering, I don't think Chase is ready to pull that plug in any way, shape, or form. So I am going to brace as if it might happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I don't want to stand here and say, there's no way Chase will ever do that. No, I think it's a very stupid idea if Chase does it. But credit card companies doing stupid things is par for the course. Whatever helps their bottom line, right? And we think the couponification of cards is stupid. American Express is laughing their way to the bank. Wait, they are the bank. They're the bank laughing. So there we go. Sapphire Reserve Business Card. We don't know anything about what the multipliers are going to look like. I don't think we'll know what the multipliers look like. I think it's going to have a reasonably healthy travel credit as well. I think it's going to try and model itself on the American Express Business Platinum. So there will be business-specific credits associated with it. You're not going to see the Dell credit, but Amex is nerfing the Dell credit. You're not going to necessarily see the Adobe credit, but you're going to see something similar to that, be it shipping, be it, I don't know how they want to approach business spend on that card. So we'll just have to see what things look like. I would be interested to see what route they take on the Ink Preferred, on the current Ink Preferred, you can spend up to $150,000 a year on the 3X categories. I would imagine something like a Sapphire Reserve business card, you could go a bit higher, probably $300,000 per year, cool, or $300,000 per year in make 4X on the top 2 or 3 categories of your choice based on your spend. Take the American Express Business Gold angle. We'll see. But I don't think it's going to be something where it's going to be like 8 times points in the Trace Travel Portal and then 1.5 on everything else. That isn't going to make sense, but we'll just have to see what Business Reserve looks like. We know the Business Reserve is coming. It'll probably come with the same travel amenities that the Sapphire Reserve does. So there will likely be an edit credit. There will likely be TSA global entry, pre-check, access to the Sapphire lounges, access to Priority Pass, all of that. It would be interesting to see if they also added Priority Pass restaurants back onto the business, but I don't see that coming in any way, shape, or form. The Priority Pass tends to just go with, oh, you've opened a lounge, no more restaurants for you. So we'll see what happens. But they've been very quiet on what this business card is going to look like. The new design on the business card looks really nice. I like that the new designs on both cards are different enough and you can differentiate them based on the design. And probably when you get the card physically, if you get both cards, the textures are going to be very different. So you'll know which one you're grabbing without having to look at, oh, is it Sapphire Reserve or is it my business? Once you see the card pop up, you'll know immediately. So that will be nice. Now let's go on to some wild cards. I think there are 2 wild cards that we might want to guard against going into Tuesday. The first, the Ink Preferred becoming the Sapphire Preferred for business. I think Chase will want to coalesce marketing on this. Ink Preferred, Sapphire Preferred for business makes a lot of sense if you're going to keep the Sapphire Preferred around, which they obviously will. I saw something floated earlier today on Reddit, a new terms and agreements sheet for a annual fee of $299 card that was a business card. There is no $299 business card in Chase's lineup. The highest end that I know of for a business card is $450 for the United Club business card. The United business card is $150. The World of Hyatt business card is $199. All the other business cards are less than $199. So it's not a co-branded card. Then it would make sense to look at the Ink Preferred, Ink Premier. The Ink Premier doesn't make sense as a card overall. Maybe if they were rebranding that to the Sapphire Reserve and it could become a 2X catch-all Sapphire Reserve for business card at $795 that you can pool the UR points would be interesting. But I would just take the Ink Preferred, slap a new coat of paint on it, keep the multipliers exactly the way they are. We'll have to see what sort of couponification we'll look at. But then it would close the delta between what is going to be the Sapphire Reserve for business, which could be as high as $795, and a $95 Ink Preferred. There's got to be something in between. So it stands to reason that like a $299 annual fee or $295 annual fee or $300 or whatever would make a lot of sense. Now you're going to move up from the entry level and the mid level, but you can always make a card to supplement the mid tier, or this is a card that comes in over the top, but then you'd have to change the name of the Ink Preferred, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. So Ink Preferred, I think, becomes Sapphire Preferred for business. I would expect a lot of the same things that the Ink Preferred already does. It doesn't need, this would just be slapping a new name on it, slapping a fresh coat of paint on it, higher annual fee, and then we'll have to see what the coupons look like after the Instacart coupons are added to that card, because the Ink Preferred, the Sapphire cards, and the Freedom cards did not get the Instacart benefits when those rolled out to all of the co-brand cards, and the 2 Ink cards, the no annual fee Ink cards, both get $20 a month credits. So something else is coming to the higher end cards. So I'm reasonably confident that we're going to see a Sapphire Preferred for business. Now, the one I'm less confident on is Sapphire Reserve updates. It would make sense just to do all of the Sapphire at the same time for getting information out to your customers and getting knowledge out there as quickly as possible. On the one hand, that makes a certain amount of sense. Then there's the other hand, where the other hand says you roll out the Sapphire Reserve in June, and then you roll out the Sapphire Preferred changes in September, and you get a whole other cycle of rumors and leaks and people like me making commentary on YouTube. So you get a whole new round of marketing and controlling and crafting the story and creating the story and going from there. I think both are valid. That's why my confidence level on a Sapphire Preferred refresh happening on Tuesday is only about 60%. I think it's still very possible, just because the delta is going to be very wide between the two cards. It's already pretty wide, and it's going to get wider. Now, does that mean that the Sapphire Preferred could go up to $300? Maybe. Why? I don't know. And how do they justify it? Again, I don't know. That's one where multipliers need to get reworked. That's one where the credits are starting to add up. It's got a DoorDash credit of $10 a month. Maybe that gets upped in time. It's only got the 5% on Lyft rides. So they may have to go back to Lyft on that one. And then there's the Instacart credits, where if it becomes a grocery and lifestyle card, it makes a certain amount of sense that it would get a pretty strong Instacart credit as well. So we'll have to see. I think the Sapphire Preferred getting a refresh at the same time and just getting all four out of the way makes a certain amount of sense, because then there's still the Freedom cards, and the Freedom cards could be due for a refresh as well. And those could be done at a later time, because previously when Chase has updated the Sapphire Preferred and Sapphire Reserve, done full updates on those cards, full refreshes. Back in 2021, they did the Sapphires together, and then they did the Freedoms a couple of months later. So we'll just see. But speculation station, we're going to see up to 4 credit cards. 3, I think, are very strongly going to happen. I'm interested to see what approach they take with the Sapphire Reserve for business, because they could just take the Ink Premier and turn it into an actual you are earning card, supercharge it up to $7.95, and just rename it the Sapphire Reserve for Business. That could be an interesting way to go. We give it all the credits, go from there. Sapphire Preferred for Business, reformat the Ink Preferred and give it a higher annual fee, give it credits, go from there. And then Sapphire Reserve is definitely happening, and we'll see what happens with Sapphire Preferred. So I don't think we're going to get... I think we'll be pleasantly surprised on Tuesday. I don't think it's going to be doom and gloom and the absolute end of the world, but it's going to take some adjustments. It's going to take some rethinking your strategy. And maybe Chase gives us the gift of you can hold multiple Sapphires at the same time. Chase already gives you the gift of multiple Sapphires at the same time. Maybe Chase gives you the gift of applying for multiple Sapphires at the same time. We'll see. But that's going to do it for this one. If you like what I do, hit the like and subscribe button down below. Check out the Stack Your Points podcast. We record on Monday nights. We release here on YouTube on Wednesdays and Fridays. We do a live Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. It's a fun time. Check us out. Check out some other great creators in the space. John's Credit and Travel. He's pushing 1,000 subscribers. Let's get him over the hump. I'm pushing 2,000 subscribers. It'd be a huge help if you got me to 2,000. We're 40 away. Check out Call Milani. Check out Joe Barretto. We'll be talking later this week. But thank you so much for your time. You could have been anywhere else. You decided to stick around with me. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.